Experience action. Let's stop just talking about customer experience, employee experience, and the experience of leaders. Let's turn ideas into action. Your host, Jeannie Walters, is an award-winning customer experience expert, international keynote speaker, and founder of Experience Investigators, a strategic consulting firm helping companies increase sales and customer retention through elevated customer experiences. Ready, set, action.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, everyone. It's Jeannie Walters, and I see you out there, and I think this is going to be a great episode. So I think we should just jump in.
Hi, this is Lauren from Chicago. I've seen the acronym CXI on some of your LinkedIn posts, and I can't figure out what it means. What does this stand for?
Haha, CXI. What a fun question. So as you know, as some of you might know, the name of my business is Experience Investigators. And the reason it's called that is because I believe that all of us as customer experience professionals are really looking for things. We are investigating, we are exploring, we are evaluating all the time. And so when we started back in 2009, we thought about that. We thought about what does that really mean? And we kind of cheekily came up with CXI, which is Customer Experience Investigation. Now, CXI is actually a registered trademark of ours, but you'll be seeing it attached to some of the ways that we work. But what I love about the idea of using CXI is that, you know what, when you really think about it, I can stand for so many things in customer experience. I mean, think about how much we have to make an impact, for instance. Think about how we have to innovate. And think about how we have to use, yes, we have to use logic, but sometimes, actually all the time, we also have to rely on a good dose of intuition. So when I think about CXI and I think about all the work that you're doing, I think about the way that you're applying customer experience and the efforts that you are involved with into really improvement around the whole customer journey. And that improvement then translates to more for your organizations.
Yay!
So we have a whole list of things that we think CXI can stand for. We love to think about interactions, don't we? We absolutely love insights. We, of course, want to be inclusive, and we need to think about the individual customer. Now, all of those things, we can talk about it, but when we really get into the efforts that customer experience requires, that means actually thinking about every single one of these things. So when you think about CXI, I hope that you think about these things too, that you think about innovating and imagining the future, being inspired, hopefully, and inspiring others. Of course, integrity is a huge part of what we do, as well as immersion. We want to make sure we are immersing ourselves into the customer journey and the customer experience to make sure we can really stand up and deliver for them. Now, of course, when we think about it, we think about investigation. And so I want to give you 3 ways that I think we sometimes overlook how to investigate the customer experience. Of course, if you are a customer experience enthusiast, then you probably understand that much of this is collecting feedback and finding those insights. When we're talking about investigation, of course, we're talking about that collecting feedback in the right way and then finding those insights. That is a form of investigation for sure. Another one that we should talk about is root cause analysis. It is so easy to be reactive in customer experience, and that's something that we are always challenging leaders to think about. How can we be more proactive and intentional? There you go, another I word. So when we talk about being proactive and intentional when it comes to investigation, I think one of the great ways we can do this is root cause analysis. Now, root cause analysis is about as proactive as you can get reacting to something.
Huh?
Yeah, I understand. That's a little out there, but stay with me. If you have some of that feedback, if you find those insights, if you start noticing that, you know what, something is going on in the journey. We are getting higher numbers of abandoned shopping carts at the end of our digital journey, for instance. Well, when you just look at that, that might not be obvious about what's actually going on. But when you start peeling the layers of the onion and really looking earlier in the journey, then that tells you where to look for root cause analysis. So what we can do is actually prevent the problem from happening by understanding what happened to create that problem in the first place. So root cause analysis is a huge part of investigating the customer experience. And then the third piece that I want to leave you with today around investigation is thinking about where else do we need to look? And that sounds like a kind of simple, vague question. But the more we ask this question of us and our teams, the more information we will find. And I will give you an example. If we are not asking our contact center agents, our frontline workers, our customer experience team, our data analysts, all of those people, if we're not asking this question of where else do you think we should look? What do we need to investigate? Then they will just keep going through the motions, right? Nobody's asking for their opinion. They might see something and think, oh, that would be nice to know. But because they're not empowered to really put that information anywhere, then it just goes away. And then we miss an opportunity to investigate and make something better for our customers. So I love to think about how if we include the feedback of our employees and give them permission and empower them to really tell us, you know what, I think something's going on here. I would love to explore this a little bit more. Sometimes what that means is actually talking directly to customers and saying, hey, we're curious, what's going on? So that can be in, of course, traditional surveys and that kind of data collection, but it can also be in things like interviews. It can be in observation. It can be in co-collaboration sessions or co-creation sessions where we bring in customers to build the experience with us or react or validate to the journey that we've documented. All of that falls under that investigation umbrella as well, because really all of that, the purpose is to find answers. Now, the key here is if that we get stuck in a loop of just finding information and reporting on that information, but we don't actually see how to make change in our organization, or we don't stand up for that change, or we don't request that change, then what happens is it can feel a little passive to everybody else. Your leaders, your cross-functional colleagues could look around and say, well, that's great that you found all that information, but we can't change that. So why are we spending time and money and resources doing this? So part of investigation is understanding the goal from the beginning. One of my favorite things to think about when I'm a little overwhelmed is how Stephen Covey, in his classic book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the first things he says about the habits is begin with the end in mind. If you are not sure where to investigate, think about your goal first. What do you want to accomplish? And then backtrack from there and start looking for opportunities to investigate in order to help you get to the answers you need in order to get to the outcome that you want. So I love learning. I think everybody in customer experience is a curious person. That is part of the personality traits that probably bring us into this profession. So use that curiosity and use it in a way that helps both improve things for your customers and deliver for your businesses. And then you really cannot go wrong. There are so many ways to investigate customer experience. I'm really curious, what are some of the methods you use to investigate? How do you understand where your customers are in their journey, what they actually want next, the barriers that they're having, how much effort they're putting in, all of those things. So I would love to hear from you on this. Feel free to leave me a message at speakpipe.com/experienceaction, and maybe we'll share those answers in a future episode. And of course, you can also always leave me a message there as well. But before we go, I want to share that when we use CXI at Experience Investigators, part of why we use that as part of our brand is because we really believe that we might do things a little differently, and that's okay. And so one of the things that we offer now is the CXI Compass. It's a free assessment for you. And what you do there is essentially find the ways that we believe if you invest and put your effort in the right place, prioritized in a certain way, then you'll get the results that we're talking about. Now, it's not like a linear maturity model. Instead, it's really about what we call the CXI Navigator framework, which includes 4 parts, which is intentional success, customer collaboration, cultural commitment, and experiential innovation. Now, all 4 of those make up a great customer experience strategy. What we want to do is help you understand, where do you have to go first and where should you put your effort first? So the CXI Compass is there for you for that. You can check it out at cxicompass.com. And then, of course, we have CXI Navigator, and now we've got CXI Flight School, which we're very excited about. So please check out all of those resources. Please let us know what you want to see next, and keep investigating. You're doing a great job. And you know what? I think Inspector Gadget would be very proud of you.
Very good. Very good.
So until next time, thanks for this great question, and keep doing what you're doing. To learn more about our strategic approach to experience, check out free resources at experienceinvestigators.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter, our Year of CX program, and more. And please follow me, Jeannie Walters, on LinkedIn.